Hey, ladies and gentlemen, just want to take a quick second here to thank Mr. Rick Barnett, president of Rep-Lite. We had a phenomenal response to the interview that we did with him on the podcast, on the Outcomes Rocket podcast. And today, rather than having just multiple emails going out informing the listeners of what Mr. Barnett's company focuses on, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to level set and answer some basic questions that are typically asked of Mr. Barnett when they're looking to work with him. So first off, just wanted to say welcome back, Mr. Barnett. It's a pleasure to have you.
Saul, thank you for having me. We're grateful for your work in this arena, and you know, we think that it's just a part of an education on what we're doing. We thought we would give our listeners the ability to get some common questions answered up front. And these are kind of questions that we get typically when we're originally engaging with clients.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for doing that. Now, Rick, I've got some questions that have come in, and so I wanted to just take the opportunity to ask those to you. One of the ones that came in the most from our med device friends, and it's a great question, right? Do Rep-Lite employees carry multiple lines like distributors?
No, we don't, Saul. We feel like it's important that when we're engaged with a client, that the Rep-Lite folks really focus on not only their products, but the strategic initiatives that those clients want to move forward in the space. So they're not covering multiple companies or multiple lines. It's all focused on our clients' portfolio.
That's awesome, you know, because that's definitely, I felt like from the tone of some of the outreach was a concern. So it's really great to know that.
Yeah, it's important for us. We want to be focused on our clients' needs.
So, Mr. Barnett, what's the typical length of a Rep-Lite agreement?
Well, we really have them all over the board. I mean, we're fortunate to have customers that have been with us for years. We typically will put out a 36-month agreement. That 36-month agreement, we do that by design so that we don't have to go through contract renegotiations every year. We make our agreements where they can become fluid, because a lot of clients will add Rep-Lite folks as the business continues to evolve, and that happens with a one-page addendum. So we try to work and mimic the needs and the strategy of our clients. So I would tell you there's no cookie cutter. We would have anywhere from a 12-month to a 36-month agreement.
Got it. Very good. Very good. So listeners, there's the answer you were looking for on that one. So going to the next one, without dollars, it makes no sense, right? What type of savings can you provide us is a question that came from several different listeners. What kind of savings?
Yeah. And look, it's part of the reason we're in business, right? I mean, we're helping to reduce that cost of sales and improve the service level. So for us, what we typically see, and there's a couple factors that kind of that have influence there. Obviously, the type of position has some influence, and then of course the geography, right? Because different parts of the country, the cost of living changes. But we typically see somewhere between a 20%, and we've seen upwards of 70%. So I would say if we had a range, it would be in that parameter. I know that's a big spread, but it really depends on again the geography and the type position.
That's fascinating, Rick. And with those types of numbers, I mean, 20% is nothing to scoff at. And with margins getting tighter, you know, Wall Street asking for more with less, SG&A budgets getting cut. I mean, 20% on the low end is something that, for me at least, would be worth giving a shot.
Yeah, I think one of the things that, and you know, some folks understand this, others it takes a little bit of education, but a lot of times I think companies look at their fully loaded cost for an FTE as one number, and they don't necessarily look from an organizational standpoint how many interviews, how much T&E and all that goes into onboarding a need. So we really we try to take all that into play and just really flatline that cost for our clients.
That's awesome. So how would you say Rep-Lite protects companies from competitive scenarios?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we get it almost every time we're talking with folks. We will mimic what our clients use from a protection standpoint. So if there's a non-compete or some agreement that protects their permanent direct hires, we will mimic that at Rep-Lite so that they know that our folks aren't going to take off with IP based on the portfolio or the products. That's
awesome. That's really great to know, because, you don't want to train these people and have them start working for you, and then the next thing you know, they go to a competitor.
Yeah, I mean, we're our business is people, Saul. So we're very protective of our clients and our people. So we want to make sure that our folks have the absolute best chance of success. And with that, our clients have to be successful, or, we're not providing value. So it's critically important that we protect our clients every step of the way.
That's awesome, Rick. Now here's the next question. What is the typical profile for a Rep-Lite person?
It's funny that the listeners came up with these questions, because they're and I can see why. They're very common. So I will tell you, we have various types of people that are working with us. I think if you take the majority, it's probably a less tenured medical device person, somewhere 1 to 5 years. And these are the people who really want to continue their education and grow. And, they're young enough in their career where they're still formable and malleable, and we can really help them to become a subject matter expert in their chosen field. So I would tell you, college graduate, real strong go-getter. We're real big on, the character and the integrity piece. We will not sacrifice on that side, regardless of the skill level. We're always going to find people that we feel like have really strict morals and are very, very high moral standards. That's just our business. So we look for people like that.
How about personality assessments and things like that? You guys do those?
We do. I come from a background where personality profiles are important. And what we try to do is we try to learn our clients, and then we'll try to create, once we do the personality profiles, we'll make sure that ideograph of that person that we're recruiting for that potential client fits their culture. So culture is a big fit. It's a big thing in this industry, and every company's got a different culture that they're trying to protect, and that they know that is successful in their business. So we really try to mimic that culture, regardless of what it is. There's sales, there's service, there's academic. So there's just a lot of different clients that we serve, and we try to make sure that we match those personalities up really tightly.
So Rick, listen, I mean, this is so great, and the bottom line is, you get these people into these positions, and once they're in and if you did a great job, they're going to fit the culture so well. One of the questions that came up, and this is the last one that I have here, is what if I want to hire my Rep-Lite person? If they fit in so well and they're doing their job like amazingly. I mean, first of all, the way I look at this is you're de-risking their hiring risk, and it's just a no-brainer. But how does that work if they want to hire them?
Yeah, and look, I would tell you, Saul, it's one of our value propositions. It's a career path for the Rep-Lite folks. I think for our clients, again, that we serve, I think what's really critical is the fact that they can bring on a Rep-Lite person They can look at that person. They can make sure that they respond well to customers. They can look that they're grasping the technology. They can see they work well with the direct employee. And if all those things fit, and then there's a need for a direct person, it's a phone call. And I always, as long as the person is in good standing with both Rep-Lite and our client, I 1000% always agree to let them go. So, you know, I always give it a sports analogy. It's almost like a AAA ball team for a baseball team, right? I mean, you've got your major league players out there, and if something were to happen to one of your all-stars, whether that be attrition or whatever happens, then you can always fall back on the Rep-Lite team to be able to fill that void. So, you know, there's a big problem, as you know, when you lose someone in this space. We call it scorched earth, right? Because it takes you so long to refill and get that territory back up to running. With Rep-Lite, we just decrease that loss because it's a phone call, and we can be pretty quick to accommodate a reload for a client. So I think you said it best. It de-risk a talent pool for our customers.
That's outstanding. And folks, as you're listening to this and you're curious about it, just go to Rep-Lite, rep-lite, lite.com, and you'll be able to find more info there. Rick gives away some free reports, and also, you know, you could reach out for additional information. But for the listeners here at Outcomes Rocket, just want to say, here you go. As promised, the questions that you were wondering about. Hope you found these helpful. And Rick, thank you so much for making the time for us.
Absolutely. Thanks. As always, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, Rick.